What happens when pulling the thread on a massive corporate cover-up ends up unraveling your own biology? For investigative reporter Eddie Brock, uncovering the truth started with a ruined career and a desperate need for a comeback. On the other side of the tracks was Carlton Drake. While Eddie was struggling, Drake was a billionaire visionary running the Life Foundation, operating with unchecked power behind heavily fortified doors. Dr. Dora Skirth, a lead scientist at the foundation, risked her career to meet Eddie in the shadows. She described a lab that had abandoned all ethical oversight to conduct experiments in total secrecy. This abstract biological schematic details the lab's work with extraterrestrial entities called symbiotes. The diagram shows these alien parasites attempting to merge with the human host system. High rejection rates flash in red, showing human biology cannot withstand the connection. But Drake theorized humans must adapt to survive space. As the logic flow shifts, we see his hypothetical goal, a perfect fusion state glowing green, where human and alien act as one synchronized organism. But reality was far from that pristine green model. To force this evolutionary leap, Drake was pulling vulnerable, destitute people from the streets and subjecting them to these fatal trials. Filing a report was no longer enough. To stop the body count from rising, Eddie had to move from the sidelines and breach the facility himself. Once past the perimeter, Eddie dropped into the sublevels of the Life Foundation. The environment shifted immediately into cold, sterile isolation, deep underground. He crept past armed patrols and heavy security doors. He was out of his depth. One wrong step, and a corporate security team would end his investigation on the spot. Then he found the testing wing. Rows of reinforced containment chambers lined the walls, each one holding a human subject trapped in Drake's brutal trials. Out of all those anonymous faces, one stopped him in his tracks. In one of the cells was Maria, an acquaintance from his own neighborhood. She was visibly dying. Her body was failing, enduring the exact violent biological rejection Dr. Skirth had warned him about. Seeing Maria through the glass destroyed Eddie's professional detachment. Documenting the horror could wait. He had to get her out. Acting on pure adrenaline, Eddie grabbed a fire extinguisher. Using brute force, he smashed the containment glass, sending heavy shards spraying across the sterile lap to pull Maria free. But instead of running toward the exit, Maria lunged at him. She pinned him down with unnatural strength. The woman he knew was already gone. Maria's mind was buried beneath the parasite, her failing body now nothing more than a biological anchor for the alien. As they struggled on the floor, the alien assessed its options. Sensing Maria's impending death, a dark, viscous mass poured out of her and violently forced its way into Eddie's system. His attempt at a rescue had backfired. By breaking the glass to save a human life, Eddie tore down the only barrier keeping the symbiote contained, merging his own biology with the extraterrestrial entity. Instantly, the facility alarms blared. Stealth was dead. Eddie scrambled to his feet and sprinted blindly down the corridor to find an exit. Almost immediately, his legs moved faster than they ever had. When guards blocked his path, his arms lashed out with crushing force before he even consciously decided to swing. He broke into an open courtyard, cornered. Without breaking stride, his body propels him upward, rapidly scaling a sheer concrete wall with impossible speed. Security forces opened fire from below, but Eddie maneuvered through the barrage without a scratch. His reflexes anticipated the trajectory of the bullets before they even left the barrels. Inside his own head, Eddie was in pure terror. He was surviving a lethal gauntlet, ignorant of how his muscles were generating this kind of kinetic output. He had successfully uncovered the Life Foundation's secret, but the cost was his autonomy. Eddie Brock was no longer acting alone.